All you do is press this button. Then when the ring pops up, just twist it until you see the guy you want to be. Slam it down and bammo! You're one of 10 super cool alien dudes!
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. Yes, I know. I am once again the savior of the internet for at last reviewing one of your favorite childhood shows. You may bask in my greatness. Yeah, ever since I became the superhero guy, I've been getting request after request after request to talk about one of, if not the, most pivotal superhero show of millennial/zoomer childhood, Ben 10. So why did it take me so long to finally get to it? Well, if you've seen my latest Batman video, you should be aware that there are a bunch of shows you intellectuals want me to review that I haven't seen in a hot minute, and Ben 10 is one of them. I actually need to sit down and rewatch the doggone thing, which I'm really looking forward to because I have nothing but good memories of it. But I figured, hey, I can at least give you intellectuals something to chew on. So today we're starting from the very beginning and looking at the series premiere, and then there were 10. The episode starts in the middle of space, where two ships are in the middle of combat. Way to hook literally every sci-fi fan and 10-year-old boy in existence with your first scene. I'm guessing Star Wars inspired?
Hull damage 20%. I have come too far to be denied.
Holy dodongos, Caitlin really did summon Cthulhu. This is Vilgax, the guy in charge of the big ship, though they don't actually say his name in this episode. If you're looking at this tentacle-faced menacing conqueror and thinking to yourself, that's definitely the bad guy, first of all, you're racist. Second of all, you're correct. This is indeed the big bad of the show, and it speaks to great character design that it's so easy to tell that. It also helps that his ship and its crew are red, a pretty generic bad guy color.
The Omnitrix shall be mine, and there is not a being in the galaxy that dares stand in my way.
Classic ironic setup there, though the dialogue's a little shaky. Whoever's flying that ship is already standing in Vilgax's way. What he should have said was, and there's not a being in the galaxy that can stand in my way. With the transition, we get our first look at our protagonist, Benjamin Tennyson, who is shown throwing a paper airplane at his teacher, instantly demonstrating a part of his character. We now know Ben is a bit of a troublemaker and not too studious. Time for the theme song. I've always liked this one. It's not my fave, but I think it does a good job summarizing what you're in for, using stereotypical alien, is it whistling? I'm not sure what that noise is, but when you hear it, you know aliens are involved. Same goes for the clicking. These two play right before the meat of the intro, immediately setting its theme, as well as the shows. Mixing these with a catchy song and some decent visuals, it all works with setting things up, as well as getting you hyped. Though there could have been more emphasis on the other characters who aren't Ben. Personally, this is an intro I wouldn't have played in the first episode since it's got a few spoilers in it. But this was back before streaming was mainstream, so who knows if they even had a choice in the matter. Back to the episode. Oh yeah, that's right, Men of Action made this. Wait, wasn't this the first show they ever did? Well, would you look at that? This episode's history in the making. For those of you out of the loop, Man of Action Entertainment is a creative studio and writer collective that made a good chunk of praiseworthy projects. It's actually not the first time we've seen them here on the channel, as they were also responsible for Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
And I just want to remind you all that I will be teaching summer school this year, and it's not too late to sign up.
Yeah, right.
Yes, we all know by now that I'm a Tara Strong fanboy. What's more interesting is Jennifer Hale. I'm always shocked to hear recognizable voices in small roles, even though that happens all the freaking time. And there's no way they did this on purpose, but having Femshep be one of the first voices in a show about aliens is pretty fitting. The bell rings and Ben exclaims how excited he is for the start of summer vacation. We transition to outside, where a couple of bullies are doing what bullies do. Ben steps up, telling them to back off.
What are you gonna do about it, Tennyson?
Way to break stereotypes. I would not have guessed that kid was a bully. Ben charges in, but only winds up making things worse.
I was just trying to help. Next time you want to play hero, make sure you can back it up.
And with that little scene, we finish setting up Ben's core characteristics. He's no angel, but he is willing to stand up for the little guy. He saw someone else in trouble and went to help, completely disregarding his own safety in the matter. The boy's got a heroic spirit, even if he lacks the skills and maturity to back it up. In short, he's a good kid. A mobile home shows up and we get introduced to our other main characters, Maxwell Tennyson, Ben's grandfather, and Gwendolyn Tennyson, Ben's cousin.
What is she doing here? Somebody convinced my mom that going camping for the summer would be a good experience for me.
I thought it would be fun if your cousin came along with us this summer.
I feel like that was an awful idea, Max. Gwen didn't want to go, Ben did want to go, and Ben didn't want Gwen there. It feels like this makes no one happy and only causes problems. Also, from Ben's reaction, this is extremely extremely short notice. Some people need mental preparation for extra company. It's difficult to be angry though. Max just wants his family to spend time with each other. I can sympathize with that.
I wait all school year to go on this trip, and now the Queen of Cooties is along for the ride.
Now that we've got both of them on the screen, I want to say that Ben and Gwen have fantastic designs. I think how they look here is my favorite iteration of the characters, especially Gwen, even if the cat logo annoys me a little bit. I'm not too savvy on art, so it's difficult for me to describe in technical terms exactly what I like about the designs, but the best way I can put it into words is that it feels like I'm eating candy with my eyes. And no, not eye candy, that's a completely different thing. You might notice that both Ben and Gwen are spotting green eyes. If there's a lore reason for this, like they get it from their alien DNA or something, I'm not aware of it. I just know that green is a go-to color when it comes to aliens, so I think it's a nice touch. Oh yeah, Ben and Gwen both have alien ancestry. Ignore that for now.
I had my own vacation already all planned out too, you know. Each activity is color-coded, so I never did the same thing 2 days in a row.
Just gonna add Gwen to the list. There we go. Yeah, despite me not being a girl, last I checked, Gwen has always been my favorite character in this iteration of Ben 10. I'm drawn to her for similar reasons I'm drawn to Gear from Static Shock. Doesn't matter your race or your sex, if you're the more nerdy one of the characters, you have a better chance of me liking you. Although in this case, I'm actually drawn more to Gwen than I am Gear because she's also goody two-shoes. Yes, boys stereotypically are bigger troublemakers than girls, but that was a stereotype I did not meet, so Gwen tended to be my comfort character whenever Ben would act out. Also, I didn't know this until recently, but apparently a lot of people had a crush on Gwen. And I don't mean Gwen throughout the series, I mean they crushed on this specific version of the character. Nothing wrong with that, it's just I wasn't aware of it. I knew about characters like the Teen Titans girls and the Totally Spies girls, but Gwen came as a complete surprise to me. Then again, I was 14 when this show came out, so none of my peers would have crushed on her, or at the very least, they wouldn't have admitted to it. The episode continues, and it's Max's turn to get some characterization, so he tries to get the kids to eat the exotic food he prepared.
If these don't sound good, I've got some smoked sheep's tongue in the fridge.
I would definitely try tongue before downing alive worms.
I got a half-eaten bag of corn chips and a candy bar in my backpack.
Some rice cakes and hard candy.
Think we can make them last the whole summer?
So far, the episode's doing a really good job letting us get to know the characters. It's only been about 5 minutes, and we've learned a lot about these guys, and it's all pretty much been shown rather than told. Like here, what we just witnessed was that even though Gwen and Ben get under each other's skin, there's still a sense of camaraderie between them. They may have their differences, but at the end of the day, they're both kids. Back in space, Vilgax and the mystery ship are still going at it. The two manage to get critical blows on each other, with Vilgax's bridge getting blown up and the mystery ship having its propulsion system damaged. The mystery ship eventually gets destroyed, but in its damaged state still manages to send out a probe. Back on Earth,
Who wants to roast marshmallows? Okay,
I get that Ben and Gwen dislike each other, so it makes sense that they don't want to even try to bond, but the last scene we were shown was them willing to come together to eat food. Their very next scene being them not willing to come together to eat food is contradictory. Ben decides to take a walk just to get away from Gwen and heads into the woods. During his journey, the probe that we saw get launched comes crashing down. Ben goes to inspect the crash and finds what we've all been waiting to see.
A watch.
Yes, it tells time, and nothing else.
Ben reaches for the so-called watch with his left hand for some reason, and as soon as he does, the alien device sticks itself upon his wrist. Apparently, it's got some secrets that it's hiding.
Ben's been gone a while.
Unless he wound up barefoot. Yeah, I can dream, can't I?
So Gwen would also choose the bear. Ben tries to pry the device off himself, but the Pip-Boy is stubborn. While he can't get it off, he does manage to turn it on. That is the correct response.
Hey, I'm on fire, and I'm okay.
Steve Bloom! Oh goodness, I did not know he was in this. He's also the voice of Vilgax. What?
The puny Earth being that is keeping the Omnitrix from me.
Oh wow, I didn't even catch that.
Check it out. I'm totally hot.
Alright, Gwen's still my favorite, but Ben does have his moments. Ben, now realizing he can blast heat, does what just about any 10-year-old boy with no forethought would do.
Wait, stop!
It's my D&D players when they realize Fireball is an AoE, not a targeted spell.
This would be so cool if it weren't so not cool.
Ha, I see what you did there. Max and Gwen can see the fire from where they are and immediately get scared that Ben might have caused it.
Better take this.
Okay, Max, I get that you want to rescue Ben, but why are you bringing Gwen? She's a 10-year-old girl. Tell her to stay in the camper where it's safe. And now she's by herself? Why? I repeat, she's 10 years old. Again, that is the correct response.
There's no reason to be scared.
Okay, Gwen's a very capable 10-year-old girl, but still.
Don't even think about it, freak.
Ben?
Freak was not the best choice of words there. The writer should have had Ben call Gwen Cootie Queen or something else very specific that would give away his identity.
What happened?
It started when an alien device did what it did.
Gwen, are you all right? What in blazes?
Ha! I also see what you did there.
It's me, Grandpa.
Ben?
Max tells Ben to use his new powers to start another fire ahead of the flames so they'll cancel each other out. Back in space, we see the results of Vilgax. He's a bit cranky because the space battle almost killed him. Pfft, wuss. Also, his men can't find the device he wanted.
It landed on the planet below. Go. Bring it to me.
We cut back to Earth where the Tennysons are trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
He's not a monster. He's an alien. I mean, look at him.
Good foreshadowing of things to come. Ben starts to think he'll be stuck as what he is forever. However, before he can get too worried, the device on him starts flashing and he turns back into a human. Max tells the kids not to mess with the device anymore and that he's going to check the crash site. Meanwhile, at said crash site... Do you feel better about yourself? What exactly did that accomplish? Ah, see, better. That might actually do something. Back to the camp. Geez, there are a lot of cuts here. Ben is actively disobeying Max's orders.
What did it feel like going all alien like that?
It was like I was me, but it was also like I was somebody else.
Scenes like this, where the characters are just expressing themselves, are important. They might not necessarily advance the plot, but they do advance character and help the audience empathize. Case in point.
If I can figure this thing out, maybe I can help people, not just, make things worse.
You do have to be careful not to relay too much information though to avoid getting talking head scenes. In this particular case, this scene does advance the plot because Ben figures out how to transform again.
What good is this one? I can't see.
After showing off his abilities and teasing Gwen, Ben heads off into the woods to test out his new form.
I'm gonna tell Grandpa that you turned into some freaky animal monster thing and went swinging around the forest when he told you not to.
Wow, what a tattletale. No wonder she's my comfort character. Ben eventually runs into one of the floating robot scouts. Thanks to his new form, the kid is able to tear apart the robot, but he inadvertently changes back right before the second one appears.
Back off, Sparky.
Okay, giving you points for making sure Gwen is not a useless character. However, this kind of undermines Ben's new abilities. What you're effectively showing us is that Ben's dog form is just as dangerous as a 10-year-old girl with a shovel.
I was worried that you might get popular with that thing on your wrist.
Sorry, Grandpa. But at least I figured out how to make it work.
With a device as powerful as that watch clamped on you, my guess is we'd better help you learn.
I'm starting to think you might be a bad influence, Max. The responsible thing to do would be to contact Ben's parents, tell them the trip is off, and let them know what's happening before beelining it to Mount Rushmore.
Why Mount Rushmore?
Reasons. Suddenly, the Tennysons get a distress call on their radio about a robot attack. Ben thinks that maybe he'll be able to help now that he's partially figured out how the watch works.
Here goes.
So what can this guy do?
I don't know, but I bet it's gonna be cool.
Probably should have started with one you already know how to use. Actually, Ben doesn't have total control over which alien he's gonna become. Actually, he doesn't even try here. The Tennysons head over to the campground and superhero shenanigans ensue.
You want somebody to pick on? Try me.
What is going on here?
You probably wouldn't believe me if I told you. Now come on.
Did they just make her do an anime girl run for a split second? Why? Was that easier to animate? As the fight goes on, Ben adapts to his new body. He learns that he's durable, can morph himself, and is able to reflect lasers.
What comes around, goes around.
The child in me is very satisfied. That was awesome.
Way to go, Ben! diamond-headed guy?
Is there a reason he needs a secret identity? Especially with a name like Ben. The robots are tracking him because he's wearing alien tech. The next day, as Max and Gwen are packing up, Ben demonstrates another one of his aliens, this time one with the power of super speed. Part of the fun with shows like this was waiting to see what powers would be discovered, so it's interesting that this first episode was willing to reveal 4 aliens right off the bat.
Just had to take care of a couple of things before our vacation really got rolling.
Hey, somebody! Anybody!
Ben, you're pushing Man of Steel territory there, and I just did a video about how I don't like that. He's a kid. I guess I could let it slide. And that was And Then There Were 10. Freaking fantastic episode. It excellently does what a series premiere is supposed to do. All the basic information we need to learn about these characters in this world is delivered insanely well, while still leaving plenty of room for us to learn more as the series goes on. Not only that, but there were a plethora of action scenes and they all felt organic. We even get to see the big bad, and he's given a logical reason as to why he won't immediately go after the hero directly. There are projects that exist who owe their success solely to execution. Like, they sound awful on paper, but how they were implemented turned them into successes. It's no wonder Ben 10 got as big as it did, because it was both amazing on arrival and well executed. 10 superhero aliens being controlled by a 10-year-old kid with his wise grandfather and his know-it-all cousin. Even without good writing, you would have to try spectacularly hard to mess up a concept that brilliant. Thankfully, not only did Man of Action not do that, but they delivered a product so well that it would be popular for over a decade. Though, let's be real here, the main reason this show keeps coming back is that literally every version of Ben comes with at least 10 alien toys that can be sold to kids. Still, with this fantastic execution to an already promising idea, it makes perfect sense that greatness for Ben 10 would not be an alien concept. This has been Shady Doorags. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.